Okay, so today is Thursday, October. Let me put that seems in my face. Thursday, October 30th, 2025. Teenage crack. So this is a lot later in the day than usual. It's like almost 6 o'clock, and excuse me. I'm gonna be honest. Like I was really tired when I woke up this morning, and so I was like, I could do it right now, but sorry, let me rephrase that. It was more of because I was so tired, I was a bit late, like kind of starting my day. And then about the time I was like, okay, I'm now free to record this. I was going to start work in an hour. And you already know how long this video is. I don't. But when I just realized how much stuff I wrote down to talk about, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a long one, huh? Because I feel like a good handful of the last few have been long, like 45 minutes, 50 plus minutes. I'm like, really? I mean, when I look at the notes, I didn't even have that much to talk about. I just kind of went off for a while. Here, oh, that's a lot of notes. So, let me start with the big one. My book comes out on Saturday, November 1st. And I do plan on doing a video for that specifically. Of just, here is book, this is what book about, this is where book can be bought. Using my ethereal eloquence there with those sentences. But I do want to do a video specifically about that today, or not today or tomorrow or Saturday. Either my book is out tomorrow or my book is out today. Let me talk about it. And I'm not going to do that right now. Like I said, it's going to be a separate thing. But I do kind of want to talk a bit about why I chose Saturday. Number one was, there's kind of three reasons. Number one was just doing some of my own research. And one thing that I saw is that you generally want to get your book out like the start of a month, either like the very start at the very end, like where people are getting paid. Weekends tend to be better releases, like a Friday or a Saturday. Around a holiday is really good. November in general is just really good. It's like, okay, so, you know, it's the start of the month. It's the 1st of November. It's a weekend. You know, it's in November. Like, okay, so like a lot of those things kind of, it's right after a holiday. I mean, you don't get Halloween off. Everyone loves Halloween. So like that kind of fits, so I like that. So that was reason number one. Reason number two is, I don't remember if I mentioned this previously, but I had entered it in a contest where it didn't move forward, but it scored really well. And I heard back from that contest saying, hey, you know, because it scored so well, we want to have it in like our elite collection. And we plan on releasing that collection in November. So, you know, the sooner you can get it to us, enter the details, the better. I'm like, cool. It's not actually published yet, though. So maybe I really need to get on that. And I don't know, I guess if you're going to do this in November, maybe I should just shoot for November. So November 1st. And with the stuff I had looked at previously, that fits some criteria about a good time to release a book. So November 1st it is. Reason number three is, I don't want to say this. For me, I think it was important to pick a date and stick with it. Because this November 1st date is something I've been actually working toward for a while now. About a month-ish. And it's something I haven't mentioned in these videos. I think I've alluded to it, or I'm like, there's something I'm kind of working for. Like, I have an idea, but I don't want to talk about it. And the reason I didn't want to talk about it is something I know that happens a lot in these videos is I will talk about something I have planned. Like, I remember last year where I was like, hey, I finished Worm, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read Project Horizons, and then, or at least, like, the first book. Then I'm gonna rewatch, like, all my Worm videos and have it fresh in my mind. And then once it's fresh in my mind again, because I don't want to do it right after finishing Worm, like, I want to take a bit of a break. Then I want to do just, like, here is my Worm video, like, in review with all of that stuff, and I never did it. I just never really wanted to, like, listen to all my old videos again. Like, I'd done it a couple times, and I was like, look, these are really long, and, like, I've already experienced my experience of that volume, you know, like, when I read it, and then when I did my notes, and then when I recorded it. So, I don't know, like, I think I'm kind of good, and then not doing that delayed me getting back into Project Horizons, and then I'd finally try to get back into Horizons. I was like, I don't know, I kind of made my peace with it after rereading the first volume. Because I feel like Volume 1 still has things I dislike about it. Clearly, if you watch any of those videos. But there's also a lot of things that I really liked. Like, on its own merits, as part of the greater whole. But also in the way I was choosing to reinterpret that story. And it was that reinterpretation in particular that just kind of made me realize I'm good. Because it does so much for the problems I had with it that I don't think I need to move forward anymore. So, now I'll start reading Ward, and I just haven't read Ward in like a month. And I will say, that does not feel like an intentional drop. Like, I really enjoyed Ward, and I want to get back into it. I just haven't. Kind of like with Gundam. Like, I watched 3 episodes of Victory Gundam and was like, this is really cool. Like, I'm enjoying this so far. I can't wait to watch more. Have not watched an episode since. Or when I was like, hey, we watched Shin Godzilla in theaters, which was awesome, by the way. And, like, maybe this will be what it takes to get us back into our Godzilla marathon. Hasn't happened yet. I've noticed there's a lot of times where I will get really excited about sometimes a personal project, sometimes a group project, and I don't really follow through with it. And I didn't want that to happen here. And I didn't want to, like, say a date and not adhere to it. I wanted to say, I'm picking a ding-dang date. Let's go. And I did. I, like, revised it a few more times. I found, like, distributors, like, different places I can put it. It should be on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, on Kobo. I was trying to get it on Apple, and then, like, Apple just took more time to verify, like, a lot of my, like, identity stuff. So, excuse me. So, it should still end up on Apple Books. It just might take, sorry, I just, like, I'm at the lake, and I just saw, like, a couple birds, like, go down the lake, and they're flying off together. That was just super pretty. Nature is so fascinating. But, it should still end up on Apple. It might just take a little longer. And then just, like, I have another distributor that's putting it in a bunch of different places. Like, I'm trying to have a very wide reach and net. I did research on that, and that's what a lot of people are recommending. It's like, okay, this is the distributor you use. These are the places you just kind of put it yourself. Blah, 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 blah. I think I've mentioned before that I've gotten some reviews, and I'm trying to get those posted. I understand with Amazon, I have to post it myself. I can't have them do it, and on Barnes & Noble, I'm probably going to have to do the same. One of them I know is posted on Goodreads, because the book's on Goodreads, and, like, that just looks nice. The other review, I think, is supposed to end up on Goodreads soon. I followed up with them on that. They're going to try to make that happen. Getting the cover, and I really love the cover. Oh, and like I said, I revised the manuscript a few times, and I got it formatted to be an ebook, because it is going to be an ebook. And then going over that a few times just to make sure, is the spacing right? No, it's not. How do I fix this? The spacing looks completely fine in the manuscript. How do I fix this? Tinkering with it a bit. Okay, I still don't know what the problem was, but I think I fixed it. And then going like, okay, it's good, it's fine. Some of these paragraphs, though, are really long. And in the, like, Word document, I think they look fine. And on the PDF, some of them still look really long, but I think they're fine. But in the EPUB version, man, some of these are chonky and just... I think it would be better if I kind of broke them up, so let me find, like, good spots to do that. Just a lot of, like, doing what I can to try to make, like, to make as good of an impression as I can. And I don't know how well it worked, because there's still some weird spacing issues in some of them, where it's less of the paragraphs and more of the spacing of the words. Like, I have no idea how to fix that. There's one space between every word in the manuscript. I don't know why in one thing it's like, hey, what if there's a major indent between, like, the end of the quotation marks and the next thing? Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, I did what I could. But that's the thing. I did what I could. And I know there's still some things to do. Like I said, I gotta make sure it's on Apple. I want to make sure I get the editorial reviews on there. I had done some research into, like, some blogs that, like, it's a fantasy book that, like, love fantasy books. So I'm gonna have to try to reach out to some of them. Be like, hey, like, is this something you'd be interested in, like, reviewing? Granted, incredibly short notice. Like, I am not expecting you to be like, yeah, I will review it in 2 days. No, this will probably won't be for a while. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's on me. Maybe I should have pushed the date out. But it was important for me. Like I said, I need to pick a date and I need to hit it. That sounds bad out of context. I don't try to hit my dates. Let me make a deadline and hit my deadline. So I did. The book will be out Saturday. And I'm very, very excited for that. Another thing that I decided to do is, like, restart my Patreon, because I had made one and then, like, kept forgetting that I had one and never did anything with it, and so it got unpublished months ago. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And I decided to bring it back. And I think what I want to do, I guess, like, to actually say, like, what is, I don't know if mission statement's the right word, but it's like, what do I really want to do with the Patreon is, like, 2 things. It's number 1, I'm sorry, this sounds weird just to say, like, I don't know, it feels, like, really arrogant and awkward, but essentially it's, if you like me and want to support me, like, here's how you do it, like, please do. Gosh, I'm sorry, like, that just feels so weird to say, but that's kind of what it is. It's, like, if you like my videos, or, like, you like my book, and you want to support me, aside from, like, watching the videos or buying the book, this is the way to do it, and thank you so much. And what I also want to do is, I guess, like, preview chapters, or, like, behind the scenes stuff. Because now that book 1 is done and is about to come out, now I gotta work on book 2 again. And I don't mean it in that tone, because that tone was very much like, now I gotta do the second one. I like the second one. I like some of the shit that goes down in the second one. Like, holy crap. A good chunk of it, I want to say, maybe like 60%, no, probably less than that. A good maybe 40, 50-ish% of it has theoretically been written. I say theoretically because there's a lot that needs to be revised. I've talked about that before. It was based on a different draft of book 1 that's very similar, but didn't have the 3rd act that book 1 now has, which is, I think, really cool, but also really important. So a lot of things are going to have to change. Like, I wrote the first, I think, 3 pages of one of the main characters' book 2. I just kind of sat there and was like, I don't know, this might be some of the best shit I've ever written. Like, I just really, really like what's going on here, and I feel like there's multiple ways you can interpret what she's doing here, like why she's doing it, and her actions by the end of the scene. And I love that. I'm like, this is fantastic. I gotta do more of this, because there was a lot. There is a lot that is written that needs to change. There is a lot that isn't written that needs to be written. And then when all that's done, then I get to edit it like 80 times. But I want to do that. And I do like the idea of like, okay, here are some of the preview chapters for it. It's like, this is still in progress. Like, things are subject to change. Almost kind of like an alpha or a beta, essentially, for a game. Like, all right, like, footage isn't final, but here's what I've got. And like, here's stuff from other stories, like with Isla. I was going to say, let me put a pin, but let me immediately take it out. That's why it was important for me to pick a deadline, is because I've talked about it a lot with Isla. I'm like, I want to publish it online. Like, I want to, sorry, I'm just seeing there's like a big ass bird, like I don't think it's a pelican. It might be like a heron just chilling on the lake. Dude, he's just living his best life. I'm sorry, nature's beautiful. Anyways, it's something that's happened a lot with Isla. And I kind of always, I kept feeling that of, dude, like, even if it's not perfect, and it's not, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done there, you need to post it, because if you don't, you're not going to. And what do you know? I still haven't. And I wasn't going to let that happen with Orichalcum too. So, Orichalcum as well, not like the second Orichalcum book. Although I guess with that too, when it inevitably happens. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I want to say, well, it doesn't have to be perfect, so bleh, here's just like slop. I still want to make sure that I'm happy with it. Like, I'm still going to do my own quality control. But I do like the idea of, like, like, if you do like my writing, here's some of the stuff that I'm working on for this series. Here's some of the stuff that I'm working on with another series. Maybe I will just, like, post that other series that, people do like. We'll figure that out. But that's kind of what I want the Patreon to be. So, there's that. Now I think I can just talk about other stuff for a bit, which sounds nice. Like, while I'm still going to be talking about me and, like, my reactions to stuff, I kind of don't like just talking about me. So let's talk about sports. The Blue Jays are up 3-2 in the series, and that makes me happy. Because I'm like a casual, low-key Blue Jays fan. Game 3 was some shit! Dude, so like, I was following the game, and then, I don't remember what I was doing. I think Clay and I were playing Silent Hill. And then, that's kind of wrapping up. I see, like, okay, we were either in the 10th about to go to the 11th, or we're at the 11th about to go to the 12th. I'm like, okay, I know my friend is watching this. Dude, can I come over and watch this? Yeah, you can. All right, cool. So I go over, and I was not expecting 18 innings. I really was. I was like, all right, this is really, like, I gotta watch it. I want to watch this. Let's see how far this goes. And he's like, dude, like, I have work at 5 in the morning. I don't want to be here right now, but this is too good for me to turn off. I remember seeing a tweet. It was like, I feel like, what was it? This game feels like I got caught smoking baseball, and now I have to smoke a whole pack of baseball. It was a good time. It was a fun time, and just how exciting and fun it was, but also how miserable it was at the same time. Just like, look, I'm tired. They're tired. I want this to end, but I want my team to win when it ends, and they didn't. But then they won the next 2, so Game 6 might decide it. Personally, I hope it does, because it means my team wins. I mean, this with no disrespect to the Dodgers. I have a lot of friends who are Dodger fans. I'm not upset at the idea of the Dodgers winning. And that a lot of that just specifically, like, number one, like I said, I have a lot of Dodger friends. And number two, it's cool, the idea of Kershaw, like, kind of going off into the sunset. That being said, even though I'm a very casual baseball fan and the Blue Jays are my casual team, they're still my team. I still want them to win. I'll be upset if they don't, but it's not like a certain team in a certain other sport that we'll get to in a second. But it's like I was saying, I think last week, if not the week before, I'm like, man, I've been kind of spoiled on sports this year. Like, my MLB team is a game away from winning the World Series. My NHL team won the Cup. My NBA team won the Finals. How are the Saints doing? Fuck! Like, oh man, we're so bad. Like, we're in contention to win the number 1 pick, not the Super Bowl. Oh man, it's like, hey, congrats to the Jets. They won a game. Now we have the number 1 pick, and we play the Jets, and we play the Titans. And man, we can clinch the number 1 pick at the end of the year with that. We control our own destiny to be terrible. And it's kind of funny. Like, look, I can't complain because of how well I'm doing in other sports. This is just balancing it out. But, like, wow, we are bad. Look, as long as we beat the Falcons. That's, at this point, I will say, I was looking forward to the Tampa Bay game. Not because I had hope. I think I've tried to make that clear throughout this season, and I hope I have. No pun intended there. But I wanted to see, how do we do in the division? Because it's 17 games. Every single one matters. Hell, even in baseball, every single one matters. You can ask the Mets. But because there's such a smaller sample size, they're amplified. But your division games feel more important because this is who you are directly competing with for a playoff spot. So how do we do in our first division game with our new coach? Blown out by 20 at home. Got it. There's nowhere to go from here but up. I mean, I look at the Lions, man. Dan Campbell's first year wasn't great. Like, Dan Campbell looked overly aggressive, lost. Like, he's a fun guy who wants to, like, bite kneecaps and whatnot, but I don't know, man. I don't know if this dude is it. But the players love him. And I still remember his interim head coach, like his tenure with the Dolphins, where I think their first 2 games, they just blew out the competition. Didn't do so great the rest of the year. But you could just see how much the players loved Dan Campbell. And now, yeah, like, the Lions might be the best team in the NFC. In terms of record, it's the Packers. But the Lions might be the best team in the NFC. I'm not really sure who it is. I would not say the Eagles, I'll be honest. Like, I'm not a Philly hater. I don't feel like I am, but they're a team who feels like they've won in spite of themselves a few times. It's like, they're winning consistently. Like, they are not a bad team. Like, I don't want to, try to make it. I'm not trying to say that at all. But I feel like they don't feel as scary. The Lions are a team that feel a lot scarier. I feel like the Packers are a team that feel a lot scarier. Eagles are going to play both of them. Actually, I think, do they play the Lions? It's like next week or the week after. Maybe not quite, but I know they play the Lions pretty soon. I think they play the Packers. I want to say it's like Black Friday, but I could be wrong about that one. And I feel like we're going to learn a lot in those 2 games. And then the Thanksgiving game, which I believe Packers or Lions is Thanksgiving again this year. But, sorry, like, there's the Heron just doing his chilling. Like, again, he's living his best life. He looks so content. I am excited for those games. And then in the AFC, like, the Chiefs are cooking again, so Chiefs are probably going to go to the Super Bowl. Let's be real. The Colts are a fun story. The Colts look really, really good. I will admit, I am surprised at how good the Patriots look. Myles Garrett had a career 5 sacks in a game, and the Patriots still dropped 30 on that defense. That is crazy to me. And I won't lie, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I don't feel bad for Myles Garrett. He had this whole thing in the offseason, like, I love the city of Cleveland, but I'm out. I want to compete. I am kind of done playing for this terrible team. Trade me. Like, highest paid non-quarterback ever, you say? Well, I can stay in Cleveland for that. I'm like, you know what? Like, hey, that's fair. At the same time, it's like, if you say, I'm sorry, I will take less money to go somewhere else because I want to compete for a ring, more power to you. If you say, I don't mind playing for a bad team as long as I'm getting the bag and I'm still going to give it my all, more power to you. But I'm not going to feel bad for someone being wasted on a bad team when they willingly, like, signed the contract. Like, your rookie deal, that's kind of a different conversation. Like, you don't have control over who drafts you. You get traded to a bad team. You don't have control over that unless you have a no-trade clause, which is pretty ding-dang rare. You signed that contract, that's on you. I hope he does well. Like, again, like, I have no beef with Myles Garrett. It's fun to watch. But I don't feel bad. But dang, the Patriots are looking good. Like, sure, you can say, like, who they really beaten. Like, they beat up Carolina. Big whoop. They beat the Browns. Big whoop. They beat the Saints. Big whoop. But they are beating the teams they're supposed to beat, and they're beating them pretty convincingly, which is kind of the mark, like, of a good team. It's beat who you're supposed to beat. If this is a bad team, don't fall for the trap and stomp them. Win big games against good teams and have some good wins on the road, like they did in Buffalo. Like, I'm not saying I think the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. I don't think so, but I've also said this year feels really wide open, and it does, which is going to make it really funny when it's just Chiefs-Eagles again at the end of it. And I mean, that could totally happen. But I will say, and this is something I do tend to say, there's still a long way to go. We're only, halfway through the year? What was the year? Because I know this is the year I bring up every year. It's like 2014. Who won the Super Bowl that year? I don't remember. Ravens. It was the year the Ravens won the Super Bowl. So that was, I want to say 2012? 09 was the Saints. 10 was Green Bay. 11 was the Giants. So I believe 2012. Where halfway through the year, the Falcons are 8-0. The Bears are 7-1. And the Giants are 6-2. These look like the 3 best teams in the NFC. They look damn near unstoppable. Like, all right, you can print your playoff tickets now for all these teams. Who knows which of them is going to go to the Super Bowl? Only the Falcons made the playoffs of that bunch. Bears finished 10-6. Giants finished 9-7. It's a long way to go. Even teams that have a lot of wins, not a lot of losses, that look unstoppable on one side of the ball, if not both. Who knows? There could be a key injury. Someone might figure them out. Another team might just catch fire and click. I almost tried to give some hope for the Saints. I'm like, no. There's no hope to be here. Like, not. I'm not gonna fall for that trap. You can't get me this time. But, someone can catch fire, though. I don't know who. I don't know who's gonna fall off. But I feel like I would be shocked if it didn't happen in at least one conference. Especially when you look at the NFC right now and like, yeah, there's 3 playoff spots for the NFC West. At least one team is probably going to get cannibalized just from playing each other. And I think in the AFC, what are the playoff spots right now? I think it's Indy for sure. Denver's leading the West. New England's leading the East. And Pittsburgh's leading the North. If the Ravens can get healthy and fix their defense, sure. I don't know what to say about the Bengals, man. And I have like no faith in the Browns. But like, do I feel like the Ravens could like get their shit together and make a run? I do. Do I feel like Pittsburgh could fall apart? I do. Like, I could see that one happening. The Texans are maybe getting things together, but I don't know. Like, look, the offense at least did not look good against Seattle, but they put up points against the Niners, which is good. It's a really injured team, so take from it what you will, but you take a W from it, so there you go. I don't know, like the Jags are good, but not great, but not bad, but not terrible, so yeah, I have no idea what to think with them. Again, you've got 3 really good teams in the West, so maybe they're going to cannibalize each other, but last year, all 3 of those teams in the West still made the postseason, so that can still happen. Oh, excuse me. What were the wild card teams last year? Because it was San Diego, Chargers, Denver. Was it Miami? No, Miami didn't make the playoffs last year. Was it Pittsburgh? No, it was Pittsburgh. That's right, because it was the Russell Wilson Steelers. Okay, I was just trying to remember. I was like, it wasn't the Bengals, because I remember they lost by a game, and I had said they're going to lose to the Patriots week 1, and they're going to miss the playoffs by a game, and that's the game we're going to remember, and it happened. So, sorry, I was just trying to remember. It's like, who else was it? So, my point stands. This feels wide open, which means it's going to be like Chiefs-Eagles or Chiefs-Rams, but there is a long way to go. But one last sports note, because this is something I learned pretty recently. It might have been last week. I just didn't say anything about it. In the 4 major American sports, football, hockey, baseball, basketball. I almost said soccer. I'm like, no. I know it's the most popular sport around the world, but here it's just not. In all of those 4 sports, the team who has had the single best regular season ever has never won the title. In hockey, it was the 22-23 Bruins, who it's like, oh yeah, they had the most points ever, most wins ever. I think it was like fastest team to 50 points, fastest team to 100 points. Like, they are going to be enshrined in glory forever. And they lost their first round series against the Panthers, and that is what made me a Panthers fan. That is what took me from like, I don't super have a hockey team, but we just got one with the Golden Knights, and they're like good immediately, and that's cool. I think I'm here, but that series made me a Panthers fan because of just how cool that comeback and story was. And then, Panthers won a couple chips since. Basketball. For a while, for like a good long while, basketball was the exception because of the 72-10 Bulls. But they don't have the best record anymore, do they? That's the 73-9 Warriors. Made it to the finals, made it to Game 7, couldn't seal the deal. In the NFL, the best regular season of all time, 16-0 Patriots. You can make an argument. Dolphins also, it's a 72, I think, is their undefeated season. It's like, they had to go undefeated to, go undefeated. Dancing out of sons. You gotta go undefeated to go undefeated. It's just like Magic Johnson said, when a series is tied 2-2, whoever wins Game 5 is gonna be in control of the series. But, Sorry, what was I saying? Like, I talked about Magic Johnson. I got distracted. The Patriots did it in more games. So, which means they literally had more to lose. So, to me, that is the greatest regular season just because it's a bigger number. Made it to the Super Bowl. Couldn't get it done. And then in baseball, what's the magic number? I think is it 114? I think it's either 114 or 121. I don't know why I think it might be like one of those is the most wins and the other is the most losses. But that's the 01 Mariners and the 06 Cubs. Not 2006, 1906, because baseball is eternal. But it's like both of those teams hit the same number, but the Cubs, because less games, they had a bit better win percentage. The M's didn't make it to the World Series. The Cubs did, but they lost that World Series. Funny enough, it was an all-Chicago World Series. They lost to the White Sox, which, completely different sport, but reminds me of a line from King of the Hill I think of every now and then, where he just thinks to himself, an all-Texas Super Bowl. And, Texas has never been to a Super Bowl, and... Sorry, I was just like, in my lifetime, the Cowboys have never been to a Super Bowl. And I had to think about that. Like, no, they have. But it's like, I don't think I had, like, sentient thought when they last made a Super Bowl. Anyway, sorry, it's kind of like a fun sports tidbit that I learned the other day. I was like, that's really interesting. The greatest regular seasons of all time in each sport never won the title. Huh. So, there's that. Let me see. I talked about book and Patreon and sports. Oh, no, I do have to say something else about the sport. The sport. Let me talk about the sport. Oh, I did want to talk about football because I want to talk about the tush push. Genuinely, I don't care. Like, it's a football play. It's a football play because, look, there's 11 guys and 11 guys. You snap the ball and you do a thing. It's a QB sneak, just we can push a bit because generally it's with the Eagles and we got the offensive line and the quarterback who can pull it off. I don't have problems with the play. The fact that false starts are never called on it, and sometimes they're pretty egregious, I don't like that. That was a fucking fumble against the Giants. The whistle blew after a clear fumble and clear recovery. What do you mean you can't challenge that? The Eagles were winning that game anyways. Also, man, like, prayers up for Cam. Like, that was brutal. I did not like seeing that. But I understand when the whistle blows, the play is dead. If the refs call forward progress, it doesn't matter if you fumbled right after that forward progress was called. It doesn't matter if you crossed the goal line. Forward progress was called. The play was whistled dead after the fumble. It doesn't even seem like forward progress was called. It seems like there is a clear, like, strip and recovery by the defense, but the guy was touched down because there's bodies everywhere. So, like, arguably sure fine he was. What do you mean the Giants don't recover there? What do you mean it's an unchallengeable play? Well, yeah, when you watch the replay, you can't hear the whistle. Then figure that out. Like, you can play the replay right now, or like the clip where I hear the whistle after all of that. Y'all make how much money and can't afford this? What? It's stupid. And we, the fans, and just like people who watch football, have been saying for years how, what's the word I even want? Bad, inefficient, insulting the officiating is. And we say it every year, that it gets worse every year. It's just embarrassing. And it does kind of make me think at times, like, not just like, is the NFL rigged? Because I think it is, and I don't think it is. Like, I don't think a team goes in knowing, like, hey, this is what's gonna happen. Like, there's a script kind of shit. But, like, no, like, there are too many variables in a game like football. But I do think that, like, no, there's times where a flag is suspicious. Either it being called, it getting picked up, or it not being called at all. And when you have stuff like that, it's just like what integrity of the Shield? Like, do I even want to watch this? And there's a lot of days where I just don't, which is sad because I love watching football. But I'm also like, really? You can't challenge something that clear and obvious? Really? You're not calling a flag on something that clear and obvious? Really? You're calling a flag on something that clear and obvious that was clean? What are we doing? But okay, now I'm done with sports. For real, legit this time. Also be checking, like, please tell me I don't actually have another sport thing to say. Okay, but I still have things to talk about. Like I said, this is gonna be a long one. Tomorrow is Halloween, and I know I should have started with Halloween. I'm like, I gotta talk about my thing. And I was close to wearing my Jack Skellington sweater. I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear it tomorrow on Halloween. Scream 7 got a trailer earlier today. I don't think I knew that Scream 7 was being made, because I don't remember the specifics, but the two lead actresses of 5 and 6 left the series, and the directors of 5 and 6 left. And I really like 5 and 6. As like, I don't know how often I've like really talked about Scream. I know I talked about those two movies. And when I talked about, like, yeah, what are my favorite movies of the 21st century? When I did my live action, yeah, Scream 4 is on there. I love Scream 4. So, and I remember liking 2. It's been a while, and I remember watching 3. I think I liked it fine, but was also like, yeah, this is definitely the worst one. And, 1 is an absolute freaking classic. But, I wasn't expecting a trailer for 7. And I think I liked it, because I like Scream. Like, hey, it's Sidney Prescott. I know Sidney Prescott. I like Sidney Prescott. I like it when Ghostface chases her and tries to ruin her life. Sorry about that, Sidney Prescott. I think I'm part of the problem. I was like, I love Scream movies. But I will say, as much as I do, and as much as I loved 5 and 6, I remember watching 6. And when it got into, like, this is what the movie's about, like, the reveal of Ghostface and all that, like, this works for me. But this is what we are in a meta sense was weak as hell. Number 1, it's about being in a slasher. Number 2 is about sequels. Number 3 is about trilogies. 4 is, like, reboots. 5 is requels. Like, these are working. And 6, like, we're in a franchise. Yo, you've been in a franchise since, I don't know, the 3rd one? The 4th? Like, at what point, I guess that is a thing, like, at what point do you consider yourself a franchise? Like, we've been a franchise for a while. This one's kind of weak. But I like a lot of the other stuff in the movie, so I'm gonna let it slide. Like, I don't know what they're gonna try to pretend for 7. Like, we're another reboot. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a legacy I guess, but, like, that's what 4 was. 4 was the legacy sequel. And a reboot. And kind of a requel. But that's also what 5 is. So, I don't know. I don't know what angle they're gonna go for. But I know I genuinely really enjoy these movies. And I specifically watched the last two in theaters with, like, a specific friend of mine. Shout out my friend Church. I have not seen him in a while. I hope I see him tomorrow. But I'm like, okay. I immediately, after I watched it, like, I said it to Church. I'm like, all right, we're going to go see this. Like, I feel like it goes without saying. You and I have to go see it. Like, we will make it work with our schedules. So, there's that. Other thing I did today, like, this morning, I think it was, like, right before I saw the Scream trailer, was I watched Survivor. Because I just don't watch them on Wednesdays anymore. I tend to watch them on Thursdays. So I know I've maybe said some things about how the season's not that interesting, or, like, I don't know, it's kind of boring or whatever. But then a tribe swap happened. They're like, okay, we're kind of getting somewhere, but this is a really obvious boot. And then another episode, we're still swapped. I'm like, this is fun. I'm seeing some stuff. Still a pretty obvious boot, but there was something interesting. Like, there was actual intrigue, because it really could have been the other person, and this was interesting, kind of exciting. Then we got another tribe swap. Not a merge, not a mergatory. An honest-to-God second swap. And I looked at the tribes we got and went, yo, this is interesting, because of, like, some idol shenanigans that could happen. Okay, this is interesting because, okay, this one's not actually super interesting because it feels like a very, very clear 3-on-1 where the one has no chance. But then as they go a bit further, like, no, he's got a chance. Like, there's some cracks. So I'm like, okay. And then this is fascinating because you look at it like, okay, 3-1, easy. But, like, well, 1 and 1 don't like each other. One has been at the bottom of this tribe and has no idea. And this dude is, like, really close to this one and really close to this one. And immediately became best friends with this one. I'm like, I mean this with no disrespect. I hope y'all go to tribal, because this is, like, the most interesting dynamic out here. And oh boy, they did, and it delivered. Like, okay, some shit be happening. I am now really excited to see a merge, because I think finally the lines are gonna start to get blurred between the Hina Uli war that's forming in brewing. You're like, okay, we might have an individual game now. Maybe not. Maybe not. But I think it's going to get more interesting. And there was something I noticed in the episode. Was after the reward challenge, where Kella blows it. As they do. Different people, but it's like, look, it's Kella. This is how it works. I mean, I guess I can't say that because the swapped Kella was cooking, but then the other swapped Kella was not. Actually, I wonder if when they're merging, like, are they be able to bring the chickens? So either they're going to go to the Hina beach and bring the chickens, or they're going to go to the Kella beach, and I don't know, maybe they'll, like, bring the hammocks. We'll see. Yeah, because Hina, I think, also has the fishing gear, so it'll probably be on Hina beach. Anyways, sorry. I don't remember the point. I remember now. It was after the challenge. You know, they had to do a bunch of shit, but then throw a frisbee to knock down some, like, 4 or 5 dudes, and then Kella had one left. At the end of the challenge, the camera, like, focused on that. It was, like, one standing from blue. And I looked at that and went, okay. This feels important. Like, this, to me, feels like a very foreshadowy kind of shot. And I could be totally wrong. But it made me think, like, okay, is this saying the winner's going to come from Kella? Because, you know, with the tribe swaps, that's, okay, that's probably, like, half the cast at this point. That doesn't really tell me much. It maybe eliminates some people. Savannah, Nate, Rizzo. Like, sorry, y'all, like, you were never blue. But I'm like, huh. Like, is this kind of saying that one of the original Kella members is going to win, so it's Alex and Sophie? Is it saying one of the new Kella members? I don't think it's really the ones in the middle. So, like, Christina, other Sophie, clearly not Shannon, I don't know who else I met. I mean, Alex was there in the middle, but he was also there at the start, so he kind of gets grandfathered, and obviously Steven at the end. So I'm like, okay, and Sage as well. So I'm like, okay, is it saying that one of these last Kella members is going to be the last one standing? So Steven, Jawan, and Sage? I don't know. Maybe. What an arc that would be if this is the final three. That it's Steven, someone who he even said, he's like, this is my first time in Tribal, so essentially this is the first time in the game I actually have to really play the game. But is someone that is really well connected and really well liked. Jawan, who's been like, I like a lot of these other people, but I gotta be Uli strong, even though unbeknownst to him, he's been at the bottom of that the entire time. And Sage just in all her weirdness, and I mean that in the best possible way, because she has been really fun. Like, what a final three this would be. Do I now have a genuine rooting interest? Because I really haven't this season. Like, I might have a genuine rooting interest now. I will also say, though, I do like Christina a lot. Like, I low-key got worried when she, sat down. Is like, I just got to drink some water and, breathe and whatnot. And I'm like, I hope you're okay. Because I do like you. But I might have a genuine rooting interest. Which kind of sucks that it took this long for me to really have one. But we'll take it. So it might be one of those seasons where it's like, look, the pre-merge isn't awful, but it's not super exciting. But then it kind of gets there, and then the merge is crazy. I'm hoping it does what I think it was 47 or 48. It was the Andy season, the Operation Italy season. You have to think about that. That was 40 several. Sorry, because we're on 49. 48 was a strong 5. 40 several was amazing, and 46. Oh my gosh, dude, I love 46. I don't remember what I put higher in my tier list between 46 and 40 several. If I'm being honest, whatever I said, I adore 40 several, but 6 is so entertaining. This is such a fun cast. It had Jelinski. Bro was there for one episode, and I'm still quoting him because I call 47 40 several. Bro left an impact that few players have really left. What a season. What a time. I hope 48 by the end of the merge can be, 49. 48 already happened. Can be okay. This is more new era gold. So, with all that being said, now I can talk about some other stuff. So, like I said, this was long. So, I will try to keep this relatively short. Movies that I have watched. Tron Ares, because I think I had said in the end of the last video, I'm about to go watch Tron. And I did, and I still plan on doing a video on it, because I have a lot of pending videos that I haven't done because was working on book, and this is a lot of my free time, and Silent Hill. Quick pen in that. We'll get to games in a second. So, short version on Tron Ares, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. The visuals, fantastic. The music, fantastic. The plot, good enough, but there's 2 moments that really stuck out to me as I was watching the movie as that is a really human moment that kind of got me. I didn't cry or anything, but just you cooked with that line, or you kind of cooked with that moment. And there's other things in the movie that I liked. There's other things in the movie that I didn't. But it was you gave me more, from at least like again, from like your writing, than I was genuinely expecting. And I'm very grateful that you did. I'm glad I saw this. I was glad I saw it anyways, because, dude, it's Tron. Like, I love watching Tron in IMAX. It's like watching an Avatar movie. I'm like, I'm gonna go see it. How much I enjoy my experience, and like how much I enjoy my experience is really gonna come down to how passable is the writing. It's like, I just realized how like freaking just arrogant that sounded, and I kind of hated it. But it really is like, how much do I actually like the story and the characters and like what's happening here? I really didn't with Way of Water. And Legacy, I think, is fine. I think in terms of writing, I liked Ares more. Maybe not. Maybe it really is just like, look, Legacy is better overall, but the moments from Ares are better to me than the best parts of Legacy. Again, writing-wise. Visually and soundtrack-wise, I don't know. I might go Legacy, because that Daft Punk OST is just... But, I mean, that 9 Inch Nails was also... Oh, that was good shit. But I really liked it. I don't know if it's still playing. I think it is. I would recommend watching it because I feel like it's a great movie to watch in theaters. And if you also like the plot, great. If not, sorry, but I hope you at least enjoy the experience. Yesterday, I finally watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There's really not much else to say except to quote the film itself. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Holy shit. Dude, I was laughing so hard. And it's like, I've seen both kill counts. Oh, shout out to Dead Meat whenever I bring it up because I love that channel. Haven't seen the Sinner's kill count yet. I'm excited for that one. Oh gosh, I loved that movie. Anyways, point. I've seen the kill count, so I knew what was going to happen, and there was very little, if anything, that happened in the movie that I wasn't aware of. It was still fun to watch. What are you gonna do with those pies, boy? I have a friend I know really likes the movie, so as I was watching it, I was just like messaging her. I would just like take a picture of a scene from the movie and just be like, dude, this is awesome. Like the shadow puppets, I was like, dude, this is such a cool kill. Which technically is not a kill, you know, it's a capture or whatever. I was like, this is so cool. I'm having so much fun. Like, I had just said what are you gonna do with those pies, boys? Great time. The day before, I finally watched Weapons. I'm still trying to figure out... I'm not trying to figure out if I liked it. I did. I had a really good time watching it. But I am in just a... Do I feel like it all came together in the end? Yes? But maybe not quite. I definitely want to do a video on Weapons. Like, I don't think I'm going to do a video on Killer Clowns. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have anything else to really say about it. But, like, no, I feel like I want to talk about Weapons. I want to talk through how I feel about Weapons. But I am glad I saw it. No question. And regardless of what I feel about the movie as a whole, the last, 10, 15 minutes? Phenomenal. I will not go into details. Because aside from, like, the teaser, I knew nothing about the movie. I didn't know who the villain was. I didn't know, like, how the villain worked, if there was one, what was going to happen. And I loved not knowing a damn thing. So those last 10, 15 minutes unspoiled, incredible cinema. And I think I was saying it to Clay and Jose yesterday. I was like, dude, it is one of those movies I wish I could have seen it in theaters because I would have loved to, like, witness a crowd's reaction to that. And I'm so sad and mad that I didn't. Because Clay and I wanted to watch it in theaters. We just couldn't get our schedules to align, and we decided to watch it together. But man, like, I am glad I saw it for sure. Like, worth the price of admission for just the ending alone. Great times. I think that's it for movies. That is it for movies. So, let's try to hit on some game stuff really quick. Dispatch. Buddy Wyatt has been playing through it, so I did the first 2 episodes. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to do a video on it, maybe. Probably when it's done. Maybe after 3 and 4. They came out, I haven't played them or watched them yet. Like I said, I've been really enjoying it. Phenomenal, man. Just like and subscribe. The moment he said, one of our subscribers, I was like, okay, I love this meathead. Like, he's great. He's perfect. I almost started to sell there when I said perfect. I do have a theory. That was the name of the villain. It's like Shroud, I think. My theory is that he is Robert Robertson II. I don't feel like that's a major spoiler. Unless in like episode 3 and 4 it happens. Whoops. But I was explaining it to Wyatt. It's like, here's why I have that theory. Number 1, Shroud wears a helmet. You don't see his face. And yeah, if I was a former superhero going villain, I wouldn't want people to see like who I was either. Number 2, I believe they say that like no one like found a body for Robertson, for Astral. It's important. I don't remember if they said they found a body for him or not. I don't think so. I think it was just he died in the suit. Number 3, Shroud seems to know a lot about the suit and how it works. And like, yeah, like this is about how much like shields you would have left. Like, yeah, the last pilot would know a lot about it. Specifically, Shroud did not kill Mecha Man. He wouldn't want to kill his own son. He just wanted the suit. And like, yeah, he wanted the suit. Of course, Mecha Man wants a suit back. But he also wanted the thing that powers it. I think they said it's the Astral Pulse. And Mecha Man 2 was known as Astral. I'm like, okay. There's a lot here. That really sold it for me. So that's my theory. Like I said, I haven't seen 3 and 4 yet. So if that got revealed one way or the other, I don't know yet. If it hasn't been revealed one way or the other, I'm holding out for it. But that's my theory on that. Silent Hill F. We finished our second playthrough, but we did bork. So the plan is UFO ending. Then we'll just kind of play it in our off time and then get to the part where the game will split. Make a separate save to do both those endings and then do the true ending. So I don't know when that's going to get done, but that is the plan. I still haven't played Pokemon. Probably at some point soon-ish. Halo is going to be on the PlayStation, which is wild to think about. But it's not going to have PvP, which is wild to think about. Like, huh? Also, it's getting dark, so yeah, sorry for the shadow. I'm almost done, I promise. I have one last thing to talk about, which is Trails in the Sky. Because I finished it. I finished the remake, I think Friday of last week. Another video I'm going to have to do at some point. I don't mean to be like, it's another video. It's more like, it's another video. I want to get to it at some point, but I've had a lot to do. And a lot of it was playing Trails, playing Silent Hill when I can, and book. But now Trails done and book done, so theoretically I will have time for other stuff like videos. Short version, Trails in the Sky. Of course I loved it. Of course I thought it was great. All freaking 65 hours of it. I was like, dude, I was playing this for the most part on like turbo mode. I don't think Kondo was kidding when he said 80 hours. It probably would have been if I wasn't. Nightmare was an ordeal. I like that the game had teeth and that it just consistently felt like I as the player will need to adapt because I might have a setup and it might be going great. This boss doesn't care. And that continued from Josette all the way up to like fighting Kurt and the Bracers. It definitely didn't apply to Sorry, I think I'm actually, low-key spoiling the game, and I'm not supposed to do, but that's the start. Like, the bracer for, it's a tournament thing. It's not, villain, so I think that's okay. So I'll say the end game bosses, to put it the bosses you fight in the final dungeon, they were not a problem. Like, the setup I had by that point, no questions asked. The fight with Luve. There's not his name in this game, and then when I actually heard his name pronounced, I'm like, what did you say? How did you pronounce it? What? I don't even remember. I was like, that's not Luve, but okay. I beat him on my first try, but that's not to make it sound easy. I had a lot of Zerums because the game's reward system gave me a lot of Zerums. I think I used 8 in that fight. It was one where I was like, okay, I have a setup and it's helping. You know what else is helping? These. You know what else is helping? Luck. Because there were points where I was like, if he does this instead of this, I'm borked. And he almost did, but not quite. I was like, man, I survived by the skin of my teeth, but that was just enough. Man, that fight was hard, and it was so, so fun. It was like the perfect balance of, this is really engaging, difficult, and manageable all at the same time. Here are my resources with my arts, my crafts, my items, all of my shit. How am I gonna get through this? Can I? And I did. Peak. Yes, I did cry at the ending. Just like I did the first time. I think it was literally sitting in the exact... It was a different chair. But I was like, this is the exact same spot in the living room where I first finished this game. And I'm still crying. And the worst part is, the SC remake isn't out yet, so I can't just throw it on. Also, FC was 65 hours. SC is significantly longer than FC. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be long. And this game, like I said, it had some teeth. And FC, kind of did too, for sure. SC is a lot harder than FC. I don't know if I want to play SC on Nightmare. By playing it on hard, the original game, I basically did. Look, it's my favorite game of all time. And part of that was the difficulty, because it made the journey feel so much more meaningful and impactful, but I don't want to do that again. But at the same time, yeah, I kinda do. So, we'll see what happens. So that was this hour-long plus episode of CTT. So long the sun set, and I am now just a shadow man. But, if you're here, man, thanks. Thanks for watching all 70 almost minutes of this. Thanks for listening to me talk and ramble about sports and games, and me talking about how I'm going to talk about my book in a day or two. I really appreciate that. So, take care. I hope you have a good one. Even if you don't see this part because you didn't watch the video or you stopped part way through, I don't blame you. I still hope you take care, and I still hope you have a good one. Happy Halloween, y'all. Bye.